Here we go. She's going to initiate the mating. A beautiful girl. And there you go. And that reflex of rolling over onto her side or onto her back, that was a fairly gentle lion mating, although you could hear the low rumbles and growls from the both of them. But that, I wouldn't describe it as lack of enthusiasm, but the way in which she didn't turn around and swat him in the face suggests to me that we're coming right up to the end of their mating cycle. There she goes, rolling onto her back. Most biologists agree that that reflex is a way of assisting in ensuring that the mating is successful and results in fertilization. It's all combined with what is known as the lordosis reflex that she demonstrated when she approached him. You might have heard some of the whining, growling sounds that she was making. And that, of course, I'm sure Brent has touched on it, but that, of course, is the same with all cats. It is a discomfort for her. I'd love to know the biology behind that induced fertilization. We know that she doesn't ovulate until there have been repeated mating sessions, but I would love to know what hormonal, and I've tried to find out, actually. There's a surprising lack of easily accessible information on it. But I would love to know what hormonal practices play a role. And she's up. She's also looking very hungry. She's seen something. That immediate freeze and alert posture. Is she going to go back to her spot, or is she going to continue looking for food? Or is she just moving away from him? He's not that interested in following. She is very beautiful. Aqua has suggested the possibility that the lioness is trying to sneak away from the male and has given some advice as to how she might go about that. It's always an interesting thing watching a pair of big cats together, male and female. There's a certain disgruntled air to both of them in this whole scenario. You can see how patchy her fur is around her neck, from where he's been biting and grabbing onto the back of it to make sure that she doesn't hurt him. Most importantly, though, I think that empty belly is calling to her. And she wants to get some hunting done before the day gets too hot. You can see the flap of skin around her hind legs. That shows very clearly in a hungry lioness. Now, this drainage line that she's going into is incredibly dense, and so what I'd rather do is actually stay with the never mind, male's up. I was going to say I would rather stay with the male for now. We'll try and stick with them. This drainage line is incredibly thick. Oh boy, yes, you're gorgeous. He's also empty-bellied, that flap of skin running down the middle of his tummy. They're both hungry. They've been preoccupied by other activities, and hunting has taken a bit of a back seat. I don't want to go crashing through the bush after them if they are hunting. We'll keep up with them for as long as we can, and then once they go into the drainage line, we'll try and loop around them. the moment, she's looking, but she hasn't seen anything. She's not stalking. Shame. The poor guys driving into the sighting have arrived just at the wrong moment. Those lions were sitting so beautifully out in the open when we first approached. Perfect. Morning, everybody. Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good, thanks. I've just mated about 5 minutes ago. Yeah. So, James, I'm not entirely sure exactly how it is that they go about when they haven't lost babies or they haven't been pregnant in a pride takeover. I'm not sure what biology plays a role in their approach. The cackling you can hear is the call of the arrow-marked babbler, and of course the ubiquitous Cape turtle dove calling as well.
Excitement with lions, down with elephants, and now let's go see if we can find some wild dogs. So am I going to have to drive quite quick to try and get there? So while we go rushing towards the possibility of the African wild dog, let's jump on board with Jamie, who's still with those lions.
This is such exciting news. We were just talking about wild dogs this morning. Now Brent's on a mad rush, and if anybody can get there in time, Brent can. Wild dogs crossing onto Vuyatela. We're going to stick here with the lions. It gives Brent an opportunity to follow up and relocate them. But we'll also be keeping an eye out because we're not that far from where the wild dogs crossed. And as you know, covering enormous amounts of distance is definitely something wild dogs do exceptionally well. Now that would be an interesting sighting. Wild dogs rushing past lions. Oh, is he going to initiate this time? Here he goes. Now the dogs have crossed around Weaver's Nest Road, for those of you familiar with our territory, so about 500 meters or so away from where we are. Here we go again. See, he initiated that one. Oh, she's not terribly thrilled with the idea. Ah, all right, if you insist. Goodness, that was definitely some of the most unenthusiastic lions mating I have ever seen. Definitely coming towards the end of that. She barely reacted to his presence. Usually when they first start mating, she'll turn around and swat him in the face. That's why he grabbed her by the back of the neck. She actually didn't even roll over that time. She just got up and moved away slightly. Sure. Definitely getting a bit tired of each other's company, I think. What we can do now is we can reposition, and we can get a little bit closer. Now that he's moved, we can go through into this nice open area. And we've got the sighting all to ourselves as Mike rushes off to see if he can relocate those wild dogs. everybody duck as we go past the mystery tree that is still a mystery. I pricked a bit of it while I was off air, so I will be able to show you. Just want to watch that there. Are we good, Chandra? So the closest answer so far came from Raisa, who said a red bush willow. It is a relative of the bush willow, Raisa, so well done in that respect. It is not bush willow, however, but it is a relative. Jason has said the shampoo and conditioner tree, or perhaps a continuation of a conversation we've said about the ability of the bush to provide toiletries where possible. We spoke yesterday about the guari bush toothpaste and the leadwood toothpaste. The soapiness of a torchwood or a balanites could be considered to be useful as a soap. Sorry, I'm just listening to sounds behind me. Oh, it's another vehicle. I thought I heard wild dogs, but definitely did not. So no, not a shampoo and conditioner tree. It's a tricky one, and I'll tell you why it's tricky. And one of the other answers was monkey orange. It's not a monkey orange. Whilst a monkey orange does have those spine-like protrusions, Janet, it's not a monkey. Oh, sorry, Janet, it's not a monkey thorn. Monkey thorn has hooked thorns, and it's not doesn't grow quite as tall as this tree. Let me give you another hint. And I think when you look at this, you might actually get it straight away. Just have a look at the shape of the leaves and the color of the leaves. We were talking initially about guari bushes, and I wanted to compare the colors of the two leaves. The branch that we're talking about, the tree that I'm talking about, is the one that I'm wobbling. And a distinct discolor between the front of the leaf and the back of the leaf, giving it almost a silvery look. And no, it's not a silver cluster leaf. And when I said to you that you don't want to jump on one of these or walk on one of these, I'm talking about this. And this is what sets it apart from one of the things that sets it apart from the acacia family. Do you see the way that the leaves are growing out of these thorns? That is what makes it a spine, a modified branch, rather than a modified leaf that is a thorn of an acacia. And although it doesn't look it, these are incredibly tough and very, very sharp. Can spell instant flat tire. Now, standing on one of these will hurt tremendously. As I said, I have a friend who jumped on one once by mistake. She was jumping down off something, and she was in fact playing with my dog. And it went through the sole of her shoe, or through the sole of her foot, and hit the bone of her foot. And she almost ended up having to have an operation to remove the secondary infection from it. They're definitely a very solid thorn rather than the acacia thorn. Now, the acacia thorns look terrifying with their white color and their length and the thickness of them, but they're actually quite soft and malleable in the way in which they are designed. So totally different. It is a tricky one, and the reason I asked this particular tree was because it was a youngster, because it's a young tree, and it makes it look completely different from the adult. Now, the bark might have been the giveaway, but because it was dark-colored, I think that is why it's stumping some of you, just because it looks so much darker than it usually does when we show you them. Oh, so many hints. I'll tell you one other thing. They get to be enormous. And yes, drainage lines. So not bad guesses at all.
And really exciting. Unfortunately, as I say, with all the rain, we might not be able to stick with them too long. And they're about to go into some soft areas and through some drainage lines, but we will try. There we go. I don't think I'm going to be able to stick with them. They're moving into the block between Rebecca's and Zoe's in quarantine. They're heading south now again. Apparently, I just got to report there's some more at the staff village. Okay, we're going to try keep with them. We're just going to be very careful about where we drive. Where we are now, it's fine. It's on hard granite-y soils. But if we get anywhere near a seep line, we're going to have to stop, and I'm afraid let them carry on. But for the moment, we're okay. They've gone right into that little segment of drainage systems. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm afraid we're not. Oh, maybe there's a little. There's a spot there. But I don't think we're going to be able to stick with them without doing damage. I've lost visual at the moment, but I'm going to try stay with them. We're going to try catch up with it. While we do that, let's jump back on board with Jamie.
Whilst the wild dogs have an opportunity to scamper across and Brent tries to keep up with them, we're still with our lines. Now, in the next minute or so, I'm going to make a decision about whether or not I stay with these lions and we watch them mating one more time, or whether or not I should actually go and see if I can find the rest of the dogs. There's alarm calls around the staff village and around DRC, which is probably triggered by the presence of those wild dogs. And I want to just keep listening with half an ear to the Game Drive channel so that I know which way they are going. You can hear Brent talking frantically on the Game Drive channel. What shall we do? Shall we stay or shall we go and help them out? See if we can catch up. Of course, the part of me is very much itching. Nothing like seeing a wild dog. Shannon, yes, that seems to be something of a pattern, completely coincidental, of course. But somehow whenever I mention, not whenever, but a lot of the times I've mentioned wild dogs, and we've just been coincidental enough that they've arrived on the property. It's like saying magic words. A little part of me says please, and the wild dogs seem to listen. Obviously, it is a complete coincidence. The only time it hasn't been is where I've mentioned them because we've heard reports of them on neighbouring properties, and I've guessed at where they might be or where they might decide to cross onto our property. But other than that, pure luck. And what a morning. Mating lions, wild dogs running about, a herd of elephants, lionesses hunting. An incredible way to start off a sunrise safari. The rain has cleared up. The skies are clear once again. Well, not quite clear. Clear is a massive exaggeration. It has stopped raining, would maybe have been a better way to phrase that, and there is a hint of sun. The frogs are calling. I can hear foam nest frogs in the pan itself. There's a whole load of little water holes just on the other side of this thicket, and they are going quack, 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 quack. The foam nest frogs. A frog that is slightly white in colour. Our lions enjoying the nice opportunity for a early morning nap after their exertions of the last few days. I think she's going to be done in the next day or so. Okay, that's going to be best here. I think it's just a turn around. All right, yay, wild dogs. I haven't seen wild dogs since I came back to work, so I'm very, very excited. In fact, the last wild dogs I saw was the Orphan pack when we were travelling through, where Andrew, Brent and myself were travelling through Kruger. Standing by. Watch heads, everyone. I nearly said that down the Game Drive channel.
As you're coming from check with the SPN and Solomon Katman.
Copy that, will do. I was thinking about making my way towards the DRC, but I'll check from there all the way up to quarantine.
Yeah, the reported dogs was old from DRC, the same dogs that we were with, 3 adults.
Copy that. perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I can also check that route if you want to head somewhere else. I can also do the Southern Qatar.
Thanks, Mike. No problem. I've pulled out of the line sighting. I'm on my way.
Copy.
Here we go. And whilst we switch into high range on the vehicle and race off in search of dogs, let's find out how Brent's search is going.
So those dogs disappeared into this really steep drainage system here. So we're just checking the edge of quarantine. And nothing, no luck so far. We've got other vehicles checking further to the south, so we're going to check this eastern section. But that's the thing with wild dogs, they're so difficult to stay with, especially when they go into an area like that. So, ex-Ranger, appropriate day for a Ferrari safari as it's the first day of Formula One. I didn't know that. But thanks for that. I'm not a big Formula One fan unless I'm in the hot seat after the wild dogs. So we're going to move around and check down towards Philemon's dip and Philemon's cut line in case they did change direction in the block. That is not impossible. They've done it again. They've looped around upon us. They're back in the exact same spot when we first saw them. So when that happens, normally what happens is that they've chased something, it's changed direction, and they've done the same. So hold on, guys. Don't fall off the couch. We're on our way back to where we've just come from. So this is Dave's initiation to wild dogs with Brent. So he's doing very well so far. He hasn't managed to hook himself on a bush or fall off just yet. Copy, I'm on my way back now. I'm on quarantine. So, since it's the first day of Formula One, I wonder if any of the scouts watching, maybe I have another profession in line later in life, driving for a Ferrari. Apparently I've been told I'm way too big to fit in an F1 car. That's quite disappointing. Strangely enough, speaking of F1 cars, a friend of mine from Cape Town has just signed to drive for Ferrari in the endurance segment. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but very happy for him. We all used to tease him while he was driving go-karts and racing go-karts, but he's obviously taken that go-kart racing to the next level. He now has a monstrous engine in front of him, and he's been racing for about as long as I've known him. Actually, probably longer than I've known him. From little now all the way up to Ferraris. So guys, just need to listen to the Game Drive radio. This is deja vu, Dave. We've just come from here. Oh no! They're on the move again and going back to where we've just come from on the other side. So having a to shoot past. William's trying to stay with them. And for those of you wondering, William is Aubrey's tracker. He was just stuffing some stuff through from the gate when he spotted them, and he's kindly stayed out to help us try find them.
Okay.
They've changed direction again. They were going south, now they're going north. I'm just going to get a hold of Jamie. Tell her to go stand by in quarantine.
Quarantine junction. We've got a lodge. You're going to head up the side from the area?
Let's keep our eyes open, Dave. They could literally appear anywhere. Jamie.
Go ahead.
Jamie, I think it might be worthwhile just standing by in quarantine somewhere.
First, that's what I'm doing. I'm just moving the area quickly to check, and then I'm going to step in the middle.
Thanks. William, I'm on that small header that runs down to the western side of quarantine. Whereabouts are you?
Stop there. I just my street, the direction heading west, northwest. Okay.
They've changed direction again. Now heading back towards where we are. So we're going to stay out, stop here. See if we can hear William's car. There. So he says they're coming northwest, and we're pretty much bang on northwest at the moment.
William, we think they might come out again on that small mountain area or wherever.
So yeah, I just need to listen to this.
Quarantine.
Quarantine. So it looks like they're heading towards Jamie. So we're going to try and get there. We're not going to go too fast in case they change their mind again. So while we do that, let's jump on board with Jamie in case they pop out in front of her.
Just give me 1 second. Negative, Mike. I don't have visual. I'm just standing by here. Sorry, Mike was trying to contact me. He thought I'd seen them. There's absolute chaos. Dogs are running in every direction. And I think we're just going to sit and wait on quarantine. At the moment, it sounds like if they pick a direction and go in it, sounds like they might pop out here. I'm just going to stand by and wait and see. This is a nice open spot. We should be able to see them fairly easily. I also wanted to take the opportunity to listen for the sound of the vehicle that is with them and see if I can't get a better idea of their position. Where did Mike go? Oh, he's going. I'm just checking to see which way he's heading off. I don't know if he's got... No, I think he's just going to go in the middle of the clearing. Absolutely, Safari Dean. We need a dirt bike to keep up with these wild dogs. Northwest. That's not towards quarantine at all. They keep changing their mind. Safari Dean, absolutely. And I would say that would be wonderful if it were not for the risk of both elephants and lions chasing you. Elephants don't, for some reason, like motorbikes or dirt bikes. I can hear Brent doing a U-turn. There he is. Off he drives.
Yeah, William.
I actually know somebody. Sorry, this mad rush to try and catch up with the wild dogs. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take Brent's place there, closer to the western edge of quarantine, so that if they do change their minds, we will be in prime position to see them pop out. While I do that, I actually know somebody who used to work on anti-poaching patrols on a motorbike. And He came around the corner one day and a pride of lions was sitting right next to the road, and he tried to speed past them. And one of the lionesses jumped onto his back. And luckily he was wearing a backpack, so she pulled the backpack off him and he was able to drive away unscathed. But there's something about human beings on bikes that changes the way in which animals perceive us. It's like they're running away. For elephants, it's the noise. They don't like it. But for lions, it's almost like a prey drive. It's the same reason why we always say don't run from animals. I need to turn this back up again. Sorry. I need to listen to updates.
Madame, straight into the middle of quarantine. The middle, yeah, sort of station forward, they were north.
That's about as clear as mud. That's where they're going to go. Sounds as though William has lost them. I'm just looking at the monkeys sitting in the top of the tree. Maybe they might have a better idea than we do. They've got a far better chance of working this out. From their lofty perspective, high above the clearing. Brent's got his standby position. We should pick our standby position, which I think will be the west, in the middle of the western edge of quarantine. Monkeys will alarm call for wild dogs. They're probably not in this area. Making us run everywhere. Cheers, guys. Heather is staying up past her bedtime to participate in our wild dog search. Heather, I'm glad to hear it. I'm sorry it is past your bedtime. Those time differences are a bit of a tricky situation out here and for you guys. But Heather, I hope, fingers crossed, we should, between the two, well, actually between about the 6 of us racing around, but one of us should find them. It's trickier. The smaller the group of wild dogs, the harder it gets. I don't want to accelerate too fast through these muddy patches on the road. All right, everybody keep your eyes peeled for the flash of white and spots. Dean has said that he's happy that the wild dogs have come along to distract us and left the lions with a little bit of privacy to continue on with whatever it is they want to do, which I think is hunt at this point. Oh, Wendy. Keep forgetting. Sorry, girl. It's very close to a stall. Safari Dean, absolutely. We shall leave them to their moment. They'll probably go wandering. I still think it's cool enough for that female to want to push more for the possibility of food. They're both looking very hungry. Come to think of it, actually, that's a feeling that I sympathize with. Also feeling fairly hungry. The wild dog chase is all-encompassing. Really carefully. Wild dogs pounding in every direction. Everybody hang on to your seats. Oh, gotta be careful, otherwise we're gonna start power sliding around corners. I smell a mustard. It's amazing how pervasive that scent is, especially in the damp. All I can smell is that elephant, that musk bull with the piercing in his ear. He's actually done some significant damage to the trees in quarantine. That I think was him. Oh no, actually that must be older than that because there's branches growing upright.
Try and find them as well.
I'll just sit here for a moment. Let's see if they decide to pop out here.
Sitting here, in Zoe's, on the junction of Zoe's Road and a little track that heads up from quarantine. The last visual of them was probably about 300 meters to the south of us. And we're just sitting here quietly waiting, hoping that they pop out. Oh, interesting. Let's go have a look. I just heard from the tracks, apparently, William says it looks like there's lots of tracks on Gallagher Shortcut. Now, it looks like they might have left the babies there, or the youngsters, so that's probably leaning towards the Investec breakaways. Interesting enough, everything seems to be happening on Gallagher Shortcut. That's where we first found the lions this morning as well. So we're going to go on a little bit of a wider arc. There's a couple of vehicles still in this area. So we're going to head back towards the Gallagher Shortcut. Sorry, guys. So it sounds like Tax has got some tracks to them. So they must have managed to sneak between us. Literally, we've got vehicles stationed all around here, but they are so fast. So far, guys, sure. Exciting stuff. Mating lions, wonderful earlies, and just the slightest glimpse of a wild dog, which is enough to get my tail wagging. Looks like they actually literally bisected between where Jamie and I were waiting. So guys, patience really. So there's another vehicle waiting, standing by here. I'm gonna swing around. Good morning, everyone. Are you gonna find my Chillicotla? I mean, Gallagher.
I can go, I'll go this way.
Okay. And then we've still got one more of us standing by in quarantine in case they jigger again. Ephraim's also joined the hunt for the African wild dog. Exciting stuff, but as far as most of you guys out there know, my favorite animal by far.
Awesome. They're going to come past. There we go, looking very mucky. This is a very difficult block to follow them into. And they're still on the hunt.
Jamie.
Standing by.
I confirm you still got visual.
That's affirmative. There are animals on mobile southeast.
confirm exact location again.
Brent, it's just past the Zoe's Road junction towards Aubrey's Road. It's probably about halfway between those two roads on main access.
Okay, copy. Tax and FM are coming to you, so I'm going to move up.
Copy that. They are with us now. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I can count. 6 that I can count. Under which pack this is. Here we go. Into the middle of the road. And I better make some space for everybody. Oh, I've got to wait for a sec.
No, for just as long as
so
you've got one
excited.
more,
Oh, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, there were people here with him.
Here we go. Here comes the whole pack. Right past the car.
Enjoy.
Isn't this incredible?
So having,
Look at how large the pups are. I'm going to move so that the other guys have space.
copy that.
Playing in the road in front of us. This is so exciting. Jackson's giving me leave to go ahead of him, very kindly. Ah, there's such awesome tracks, but we can't stop to look at them now. We'll have to come back and look at them later. Wonderful tracks in the mud. They are heading towards our western edge, our western traverse area. So there is a chance that they might cross. But for now, we've got a brilliant, stunning view of them. Trying to make as much space as I can for the other vehicles coming up behind me.
Okay.
There you go, Hope Community. You were wondering about what wild dogs look like, and we've got a perfect answer for you. This is what wild dogs look like, also known as a painted dog or a painted wolf. Hello, old boy. This is one of the adults of the pack, adult males, with scruffy tattered ears and blood all over his face. There you go, that's probably from a previous kill. Of course, wild dogs can kill 3 or 4 times in a morning like this, depending on what they manage to encounter. I'm going to let Taxon go ahead, just so that his guests have an opportunity to view them as well. We'll catch up with them very quickly. Awesome. I'm so glad. I just took a lucky guess as to where those wild dogs might pop out, and it worked out perfectly. Yay, yes. Stay with us. Stay with us, pups. Sorry, guys. Go back a little bit. There, can you see? Perfect. Look at them lying in a puddle. That's why they're all so muddy, taking the opportunity to cool down by plopping into the mud. How big have these pups got? It's incredible. Look at those, all those big ears. So yes, this is what a wild dog looks like, also known as a painted dog or the painted wolf of Africa. And with that spotty patterns and colours and the dots of the white tail, you can see why that name is so appropriate. And they are essentially the equivalent of a wolf in South Africa. They fill the same ecological niche. They're actually very similar structure in terms of their social dynamics. An alpha female and an alpha male that are the main breeding pair. Look at them racing with those white tufty tails down the road. Awesome. Just let Tax go. Imagine being a guest on the back of one of these vehicles. They must be so excited. Where did they go? They went this way. No, man. Imagine being a poor camera operator on the back of ours. You got some here. Where'd they go?
They crossed here.
That's incredible. That happened so fast. They must be in an open area. There was a reason that the vehicle in front of me has stopped. Yeah. Jandre is just helping me by keeping an eagle eye out. Opa, how's it? Did the Madach come here? Oh. Thank you. Opa says no. They did not come past. Opa, of course, being our brilliant mechanic. Just hilarious. Stations, I've lost visual of these Madach. They were heading west into the block towards Impala Road from where Teleman access. Power sliding around the corners. Everybody keep your eyes peeled. And let Ephraim go past and just wait and see. Oh, F thinks they're further ahead. I'm not entirely sure. I think it looked as though they might want to come in this direction. I'm just going to stand by here. There's no point in all of us racing off in to the same place. Cheers.
You're somewhere west, isn't it, babe?
Oh, there they are. Oh, they're going right towards the boundary.
What?
Go, Wendy, go. Woohoo!
William, yeah?
Hello, dogs. Awesome. There they go. Racing through. Our boundary with Arathusa falls just to the north of the power lines, which is exactly where it looks like they're going to cross. Just as though they might go on to Simbabili. We'll try and stick with them for as long as possible. They're going to pop out a Triple M. Let's try and get a clearer view that side, rather than following them through here. Running after. Are they playing? I think they might be playing.
Keep going there, my room there, and across there.
Here come the rest of the pack. They're going to come through into the open area, I think. It's incredible. I cannot believe how big these pups have got. And when we first started seeing them until now, it's basically indistinguishable from the adults. Now, guys, we are going to be extending the show until we either have to leave the sighting because they are going onto a main road, or until they cross a boundary. we lose them. So we'll be staying with them for as long as possible. Here comes the straggler. Cheers. We'll go on to Triple M, which means that there will be other vehicles that will want to make their way in, but we're going to stick with them for as long as possible. Which way are they going to go? Are we going to go north? Or are we going to go... Looks as though they're going to go north. Make some space for Mike here. Hello, Doug. We've actually now got 4 vehicles in the sighting. One of us is going to have to leave. This is what happens on a main access road, and since we have been with them for the longest period of time, it will be us that will have to leave the sighting. So generally our restrictions are based to 3 vehicles per sighting. It sometimes gets a bit confused on a main road like this. So I'm going to take one last lovely look at our beautiful wild dogs, and then we're going to pull out of the sighting. What a stunning, stunning view. This is such a beautiful girl that's going to walk across in front of us. Beautiful. Oh, a thrilling morning. We're going to give the other vehicles an opportunity to view these wild dogs now, so we'll pull out. And thus it brings us to the end of a very, very exciting sunrise safari. I'm going to say thank you on behalf of Brent as well, to Brent and Dave, and thank you, Jeandre. And thank you to all the ladies in Final Control, and to, most importantly, to our wonderful viewers. I hope you have loved the sunrise safari. I certainly have. We will catch up with you on the sunset safari. Hopefully these wild dogs will still be around. Exciting prospects. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and we'll catch up with you then.